So I was wrong. Mile 22 is next week. This week is Black Klansman and Slender Man. And while I could go see Black Klansman, which is almost at 100% Rotten Tomatoes at the moment, after the last movie review I did, which kind of made you guys apparently a bit upset for one reason or another, I can't seem to understand. I thought it was pretty fair, but meh. Instead, we get The Meg, which everyone seems to be comparing to Jaws and Sharknado. Why, I don't understand. You could kind of see the Jaws relationship in the fact that, yeah, there's a giant shark in the water and we got a bunch of people trying to stop it, versus Sharknado, where, I've seen a couple of them. I've seen the one where Frankie Muniz gets, ripped apart, which is hilarious. But really, they're not really, in my opinion, quantified movies. They're just schlock for the sake of schlock. Man, this film is what you could call a B-grade film. B-grade basically means it's not the top quality. You're not paying for the A-list material. You're not going to get the best acting. You're not going to get the best screenplay. You're not even probably going to get the best effects. Though I'll get to that in a second. This film instead gives you kind of like the in-between. It has the feel and actual depth, no pun intended, of Jaws, but with the more lighthearted characters one could see, kind of like in a Sharknado film if they actually acted and actually had a bit of character to them. So, we get Jason Statham. He's going through some things. He's a former rescue officer who apparently knew this shark existed because of a failed rescue attempt. And yeah, he has to get some redemption, and you meet this ensemble cast, which, the one good thing about this cast is this. You don't know who's going to live and who's going to die. Okay, you know the little girl's going to live, because when is the last time we've seen any horror movie like this where the little girl actually gets killed? In all honesty, I'm trying really hard to think the last time I actually saw that, in a legit horror film. Even in Annabelle, none of the kids actually died. In It, none of the kids, it's just the word kids, okay, Georgie, never mind. I forgot It, Georgie died. How could I forget? So, besides Georgie from It, most of the time you don't see them dying, so that's not much of a spoiler. But the rest of the cast, they're kind of enjoyable, and when they inevitably meet their demise, it's not because they were stupid or incompetent, which is the one thing I see so much. When something bad like this happens, the group is immediately, at odds. There's disbelievers. Everyone's trying these stupid gimmicks. Let's get the army involved. Let's try to do this. Let's try to do that. And they don't really seem to have a coherent plot behind anything they want to do. These guys actually take the role of scientists to a certain degree and actually try to work with it. And the plans they come up with are actually pretty clever. The last one, not so much, but at that point, we're in the effort mode. We're just going to stick some explosives and make it go boom. To quote Vinny from Atlantis, oregano make a nice boom. When there is some boom. But man, it's enjoyable. And I can say there's actually some problems with this. Mostly, when I say it's enjoyable and that there's problems, when they're on the boats going after the Megalodon, it's enjoyable. You feel the suspense. You feel, they're joking around, so there's a bit of levity broken. You feel like you're watching an old school B-grade film, which I've actually missed. B-grade films are like the lesser sung heroes of movies. It's kind of when you just need to turn your brain off and enjoy what's happening on screen. You know you're not going to get the full horror effect out of this, but you'll get a couple of jumps. You'll get a couple of quick shots. And for the most part, you'll actually get some humor and enjoyment out of it. Is this overall a good one? No, but it's exactly what you need, a B-grade film. The difference between this and something like Transformers, though, Transformers is marketed up as an A-grade film, and everyone claims it to be one of the best, epsilon, yada, yada, yada. And they try to do all this over-the-top things, and they don't embrace the fun. They don't embrace the camaraderie or the just insanity. This film does that very well, but it loses its moments when it tries to get over-serious. Like when a character dies, like the first characters who die from the Megalodon. When they go, you feel the weight and the gravitas, and it actually sits pretty well with it. And, they have some actually levity to that, and they actually get brought up again. It's not just a one-off. And the people's reaction to this actually is pretty apropos to what would happen. So even though they're acting kind of like pseudo-caricatures, they're still acting kind of human. DJ, on the other hand, DJ is acting like LL Cool J, or Ice Cube, I can't remember who it was, from Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, I think it was LL Cool J. who was literally just acting like a crazy man, just like playing up a stereotype of a stereotype, but not in a bad way, just in a, oh, come on, man, you didn't need to be this. And it's self-referential because they bring it up, so it's not exactly outright bad. But when the characters inevitably do go, you kind of feel bad. They actually do what they can to try to help the situation out. It's not that they're incompetent. It's not that they're not listening to anybody. It's not that they're taking all the ideas into consideration. It's just that, well, the script says it ain't gonna work. Or it does work and then doesn't work. I don't want to spoil one of the twists in the movie, so... And here's the thing. At the end of the day, like I said, this is a B-grade film. You know what you're gonna get in for. You know exactly what you're gonna get. So, if you're okay with turning your brain off and just watching some craziness unfold, having a good couple of chuckles along the way, and seeing some actually pretty good underwater shots, that's like... Most B-grade films, you don't get like this good stuff. Like, you get cheap green screen. This actually felt pretty good and real. When they're not in the actually, seeing the screens on the sub. When they're actually seeing the water shots, they're actually really good. Especially because in the water, your sight is massively dampened depending on how deep you are. So there is that feel of darkness and suppression that you wouldn't get, just walking around out here in the dark. Like, the dark's here, but I know exactly what's probably out there. You go 6 miles down, you don't know what's down there. It's dark, it's a crevasse. For all you know, you could hit a reef, you could wake up a megalodon or a giant squid. It's that feeling of the unknown that actually, once again, it's what brings up the terror. And especially in the sense that you have no control over it, they really give that feel. In the water, they're not at their element. Which is why most of the plans exist with them not being in the water and trying to outsmart the creature instead of just, we're gonna shoot it! We're gonna blow it up. They try that plan later. It doesn't work. That man had it coming. But, other than that, they mostly try to stick to some actual well thought out plans, trying to lure it, bait it, and try to outsmart the beast, which is actually kind of good. And now, I want to say at least one homage to Jaws in this. When the Megalodon goes to the beach for chomping season, as it would be, we all know what's happening. He manages to hook these rafts are anchored to the bottom, like platforms you can jump off of into the ocean and everything. He manages to hook 3 of them. So I'm curious if that is a reference to Jaws with the 3 air barrels it was managed to take down. I'm not sure, but, part of me would like to wish it is, because this is Jaws just in a B-grade film. And Jason Statham plays it pretty straight in this, for all things considered. He plays what he needs to be. He's a smooth-talking, wisecracking Navy rescue diver. Yeah, I know that's not that big of a niche, but you take what you can. So, I guess at the end of the day, it's more on you guys before I could say if you should go see this movie or not. Like I said, if you can embrace the schlock and just turn your brain off and have some fun, this is a pretty good movie. Maybe not for full price, but I would definitely say matinee guaranteed. And if you really, really don't care and you got a good system that can really embrace the depth of the ocean like they do, you could probably get away with it as a rental, Redbox, Netflix. I could definitely see this coming to one of those things. That's really all I can say. Oh, don't stick around for the credits. There's no sequel baiting. There's no, once events happen, it's not like, dun, 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 there's an even bigger one. It's none of those. Thankfully, no forced cruddy sequels, no dangling, just lets the movie exist in its own realm. And if they made a sequel, I probably would enjoy it, maybe, hopefully, because this actually is a nice schlock film, but meh. I'm rambling at this point, guys. So, if you're into that stuff, yay. If not, it's not for you. And I think that's where a lot of the critics on Rotten Tomatoes are sitting at with a 50%. You gotta embrace the schlock, guys. This thing's not a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, but at least give it a 6.5, so that way it's not technically rotten. Or give it a 6 with a decent worded review, because that's still positive somehow. Yeah, I'm still a little sore over that whole 80-some% from Ghostbusters, but 2016, not the original. Love that one. But yeah, so up next, guys, might go see Black Klansman. If I can find some poor schmuck to go see Slender Man with me, because that's not something I want to go see by myself, because really, I ain't that big a fan of Slender Man. Or maybe I might actually go back and watch Christopher Robin. Who knows? Anyway, guys, as always, I'm Kevin Riley signing off, and I'll see you all next time. Later.